Looking to transform your family game nights? At Perfectly Picked Games, we specialize in family games that bring everyone closer. Our games aren't just fun. Kids and teens will learn how to take turns, develop basic strategy skills, and understand the thrill of winning and grace of losing. With our exclusive gift of games, you can give months of gaming excitement to your family. Choose a 3-month or 6-month gift, and we'll deliver hand-picked family games to your doorstep every month. And here's the best part. Right now, you can use the promo code GOLDENMOJO and receive 20% off your selected plan. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Use promo code GOLDENMOJO and save 20% today at Perfectly Picked Games.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
Give me some sugar.
Say hello.
I see you coming down the
What's
aisle.
up there, call boys?
Break me in the mouth. Yes.
You have failed.
Welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. Thank you for coming back. And as always, thanks for listening. Really appreciate you guys out there in podcast land. This is a different intro. I know this. As everybody else knows, not the greatest at intros, so here we are. We are without our leader, the host. Captain Kirk is gone. There's Spock. The only time I'll probably do a Star Trek reference. So, without further ado, we have some guests here with us. We have, what is this, three-time guest in Lil J on the track. Here with us, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Colton. Really awesome to be here for the third time, and can't wait for tonight's show. Looking forward to it.
You sound fantastic, by the way. Who
Thank
are you
you.
joined with?
This is my older brother, Jake. He is a 30-time guest on this show.
Also goes by
Snake, or Voldemort, like every other nickname is the same, Colton, that you've given him. So,
He who shall not be named is up
there we
here.
go. Yep.
Yes, back and ready to rock tonight, Juan. Gunner, I hope that you are enjoying the tail end of your vacation, that you are down on the bayou and you are enjoying yourself. I am also looking forward to tonight and getting into a wonderful topic that Colton has teased for 2.5 years almost, and we are here for it.
Good. I'm glad you guys can be here for this. I'm excited, super excited about this. And how could we talk about this trilogy without our real British person that we know and love, Rob Starwind? How are we doing tonight?
Good, mate. Thank you for having me. Not Spock, more Chekhov, but that's okay. And that'll be my only Star Trek reference for the night as well.
I'll take it.
2 more than I thought we were going to have. So, yep.
For those playing at home on bingo, there you go. Oh my gosh. Fellas, what are we watching these days?
Good. It works really well when you just throw it out there to 3 people. I appreciate that. I guess I'll go first. What am I watching? I'm watching Master Chef. We're into Master Chef right now. That's the Generations challenges, so that's been really good. Hard Knocks with the Bears. Hard Knocks, if anything will tell you about Hard Knocks, they make any team look good, as evident with the Bears right now. Who apparently somehow look competitive. Like, I guess they're going to... Are they going to win the NFC North? Is that a thing? What do you think, Colton?
Oh, we're done. I've counted like 16 wins already.
Oh, 16 wins. Interesting number how you arrived there. We can get to that later. You can talk with Coach. Why don't you get on the pod with Coach, because he did say the Bears are going to have a winning record, but that's it. So good luck. But yeah, watching Hard Knocks. But yeah, other than that, school started, so I don't have a lot of things that are going on right now watching wise. Jordan, what are you watching now?
Yeah, so
Great transition.
That's a great transition. For me, I'm actually on the 6th week of my paternity leave. So I've been blowing through movies kind of left and right. Kind of had this tradition back with my son. 5 years ago, I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy with him. And then with my daughter, I did all 4 John Wicks when she was born. And so now with my son, Quentin here, we've been kind of bouncing around, kind of doing some, I just forgot the director's name, Interstellar director.
Nolan?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so trying to bounce around with some Dark Knight, Interstellar, just all that kind of stuff. So some good stuff. Just run out of movies, basically.
That's solid. That's a solid choice of a director.
Yeah,
For sure. We should probably do a director series on him.
Mm-hmm.
be a good one.
Mark it down.
Put it on the docket.
We'll do it 3 years from now.
Jordan, congratulations on the 3rd child, son.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Keeping us busy. It's pretty awesome. Pretty incredible. So we're a family of 5 now. So pretty cool.
Jeez.
Outnumbered.
Yeah, playing that zone defense, it's going to be an adjustment, but definitely looking forward to the challenge. And just kids are awesome, so it's just a blessing. And Sarah and I are just pretty happy, pretty blessed.
And I will take a moment just to brag a little bit about Jordan too, because this past summer Jordan challenged me to run the triathlon that he ran last year, and so we both ran that. And Jordan did improve his time, and even has been reluctantly forcing me. I'm volunteering. We're running a 5K at the Apple Festival here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Never thought I would ever be a runner. Thanks, Nick. Nick, you know that if you're listening to this, but you never listen to the pod, so it doesn't matter. As evident from the Acolyte episode 2 episodes ago. But no, Jordan pushed me to train, and it was really awesome to run that with him and see him do better than he did last year. And we'll be running again next year and do better and keep improving. So
yeah, basically, Vaughn told Jake to do these runs, keep in shape. Colton, invitation's there, man. Those knees are fine.
No, they're not. I have proof that my knees are not fine.
Walk it. It's fine.
Yeah,
run at your own
walk.
pace. It's totally fine.
Gosh,
Keep William out there. It's gonna be great.
he's got enough energy for both of us to run that dang race.
Yeah. Thank you, Jake, for the kind words. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That's good.
Wow. Okay, so Tony, what I was going to say beforehand, Jordan is not known for defense. He is known for offense. So I'm assuming he will just be on the attack the whole time with those 3 kids. So.
Nice.
And Jake, you're, I can't believe you're doing this Apple Festival 5K. After calling me after you do your whatever triathlon thing about your knees, and if you think your knees are hurt.
Listen. Okay, listen. I got that time. Okay. That's what happened. Tony, what are you watching?
I appreciate that, Jake. I am just finishing going through The Boys, of the latest season of The Boys. Love that show. Little degradation in quality there at the beginning of the season, but picked up at the end. I watched the new Aliens movie last night. No, sorry, on Tuesday, which was pretty good. I'm watching with my family the Jurassic Park series. My kids are 10 and 12, so they're sort of right at that cusp of the age of being able to watch more extreme movies. So we started the Jurassic Park series. Gotta love dinosaurs. Seem to like it so far. And then personally, I actually just started last night something I've been meaning to do for years, which is to go through all those list of guilty movies I haven't seen that really should have. So last night was Inglourious Bastards.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Tarantino fan, but I gave that one a go. Really liked it.
Yep.
Really liked it. Yeah, the list is quite embarrassing. It contains some embarrassing movies, so I'm going to try and knock them off quickly.
Nice. We let's see what we're doing. We are watching. Obviously, we're watching Modern Family right now, knocking through those. We have watched on Peacock a show called Mr. Throwback with Steph Curry. It's kind of predictable. Some funny parts. It's a little cringe most of the time, but it was okay. Finished up the Olympics. I mean, that's about it, really. We haven't really been doing a whole lot in the whole watching front. I have given Disney my clicks in Star Wars to wash my palate of the Acolyte, so I'm almost done with the Clone Wars. And the funny thing about it is that I turn them on, and my wife is watching them sometimes, and she's asking questions. And she's not just asking any questions; she's asking the worst kind of questions. So she pretty much just calls Anakin out, like from the beginning. It's like, so does Natalie Portman die? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, he's got to go bad for some reason. It's got to be because of her. And I was like, well, you don't need to watch Star Wars.
You can skip a couple episodes. Check.
Yep.
Let's just get you right over to Obi-Wan. Just go ahead and pick it up right there.
Oh my. So yeah, that's about it, man. I haven't really been watching much. You guys, everybody sounds like they're doing well, and everybody's doing great. Gunnar, miss your brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying family time. You know, can't put a price on that, man. So, we're gonna transition seamlessly into another transition. We're gonna read an email because we got it. Okay. From our best emailer out there, ISO. Love you, brother. Here we go. Job I would want second most, I believe, was the question. I think that was the question, to an extent. Anyway, he goes, crime scene investigator. Growing up, I always wanted to be a WWE wrestler. Then I got older and got into serial killers and learning about them. So a behavior analyst for FBI was number one, but I never tackled it. So crime scene investigator would be second, just so I could still further my knowledge and try to figure out why people do what they do. Sounds a little Dexter-y in my opinion. That's okay. And Agatha might be my second Disney MCU show just because I love Catherine Hahn. P.S. You definitely need to watch Zootopia along with both scenes if you haven't seen them. That is a definite shout out to Gunnar there. I don't know how that kid is not seen it. So, like I said, Agatha all along. I hope it's better. I hope it's good. It looks scary as all get out to me. I'm worried about that. So, ISO Cam, thank you so much, brother, for the email. Thank you for writing us to at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. Appreciate you all the time, man. Hope you and the family are doing well, man. Bam. There we go. Another thing checked off, Gunnar. Suck it. Here we go. I think this next part, I think from the pre-production meeting, or the production meeting, no, pre-production meeting, not the pre-production meeting. I think we talked about was doing a question of the pod right now, Jake, or is that's what we're doing next, right?
That is correct, and I just appreciate you asking him like a question, like you're not sure because you came up with the order. But go right ahead. Thank you. Jordan and I are reminiscing about Lucas right now, but thank you for just posing everything as a question because that's what Lucas does to us. Please proceed with the question of the pod.
Okay, you need to elaborate a little bit on that, please.
Lucas, whenever we are in a chat with him, will not suggest things. He will just question the entire time, and then we just let him make the decision. But he still forms a question, and we keep telling him, just make a decision. We'll follow you. Go, Lucas, go. And he still wants to ask it like a question. So, yes, Colton, to answer your question, we did talk about it. You talked about it. You said we're going to do the question of the pod now. We are going to do the question of the pod. What is the question of the pod?
I think I remember a different pre-production meeting when we talked about you were going to correct me on some D23.
Oh, maybe. We'll get into that. Depends on what the question of the pod is.
We're not going to be getting to that.
Okay, all right, fine. I mean, I can call you out right now on D23. Listen, I love the part where you tried to pronounce the actors and actresses from Lilo and Stitch. Since they did cast some more native islanders, and I don't even know what you said. Some of them didn't. I know their names. Some of them have like a lot of vowels, but you just I don't know what you said. I don't think it was close.
Okay.
and so that was humorous to me. That was a humorous mistake.
You're welcome.
Your unforgivable mistake was you're hating on Toy Story 5, which I get. Okay, yeah, we've been through a lot. Okay, our kids really haven't because they don't really like watching beyond 4. Like they like 4, but they don't really watch 1, 2, or 3. Unfortunately, you're hating on Toy Story 5, and you say, pick a Tom. You start talking about the two main actors, like, oh, are we gonna continue to have Tom Hanks? Are we gonna continue with Buzz Lightyear? Pick a Tom. Pick a Tom. And I'm like, I'm in the car. I'm like, he thinks it's Tom Hanks and Tom Allen. He does.
Not Tim.
He thinks it is. He legitimately says, pick a Tom. He makes one of it is a brutal mistake, and then Gunnar calls you out immediately because he's like, "It's Tim, okay,
Yeah, it's just true.
it's Tim Allen, okay," and I don't know how you missed the boat on Home Improvement, okay, because what's his name in Home Improvement?
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. Thank you very much. I mean, it's pretty easy production when they use your real name as your character name. So
I do admit I did fudged up. I fudged up, okay?
That was a big one. So it bothered me. I still carry it. It's right here on the back. Yeah.
He hasn't been this mad since you thought Ben Affleck was in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm surprised you didn't dub it over like you did Selma Hayek and Penelope Cruz on Sahara. Sorry. This is a lot of callbacks to previous episodes where Cole doesn't know actors or actresses' names or who's in what.
We're seeing the trend here.
We're seeing the trend for an entire podcast that's dedicated to nothing but TV shows and movies. It's fun. It's fun. Somebody's got to be the joke. I get it. You're like, you just got to wear that shield, okay?
You don't think I haven't?
Yes. But it's Tim Allen, and it's Tom Hanks, and yes, they can forever be Woody and Buzz. Forever. As long as they want to do. What was the question of the pod?
Question of the pod. Okay.
Name the actor.
I would not do well with that. As proven.
Selma Hayek.
So does a word plague.
Plague. What's the question?
Question of the pod is, as we are getting ready to talk about the greatest trilogy ever, the Cornetto Trilogy, my question to you guys and the listeners out there in podcast land, let us know at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. What event or movie do you think you could survive? Where we have Shaun of the Dead, which is a zombie apocalypse essentially. We have Hot Fuzz, where you are the third cop with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost taking on the townsmen and people. And the third one is surviving an alien invasion. Which one do you think you have your best chance of survival with? Whoever feels like they have an answer may go first.
I mean, I'll go with OG Shaun of the Dead. Because worst case is a Weekend at Bernie's situation, just popping up against the jukebox.
Okay, it's an answer.
So my take on this question gave us some good thought, Colton. I would also say Shaun of the Dead, and here's some of my justification. I think with Hot Fuzz and the NWA, like they're so crazy. Like I just think about like my house and like me trying to keep up with like mowing the lawn or like weeds or something like that. I would get killed instantly for that, for not upkeeping. Like I'm not, the perfect resident, in Sanford, I think that's what it's called. And then the alien invasion, I just wouldn't comply with that. I would get replaced probably instantly. Like there's just no way I'm surviving that. So then for me, it's like, okay, yeah, Shaun of the Dead. They're not very fast. It seems pretty easy. I think I could definitely survive that. I've seen enough zombie movies that I'm sure I can't say the Z word. Right? Sorry.
Can't say the Z word.
Say the Z word.
Yeah, that's definitely my answer.
Okay.
All right. I will agree with everything that's been said. However, I believe my best chance of survival would be in Hot Fuzz because their aim is atrocious. So, as much as that gunfight and the gun battle at the end is amazing and takes up an appropriate amount of time, no matter what anyone says, it is an appropriate length of the movie. At the end, it is a decent amount dedicated to all of those scenes. Their aim is awful. So I think I can get by with, my mediocre experience handling firearms to be able to defend myself, because it seemed like they couldn't to them. So that's what I would say. But I think I also could survive it, Sean, but just because they're George Romero zombies and they're not 28 Days Later zombies, because that would make all the difference in the world.
World War Z zombies.
World War Z zombies.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
They're
that
all
would be
rebels.
huge. Good points. I'm gonna have to go with Jake on this for the same reason. It's just they are terrible shots. An old man gets tricked and he's done. You mean to tell me I just gotta wait for them to reload and I go over there and push them over? Yeah, I could do that. And the armory scene where they're taking all the guns in, I have fired half of those guns, so he comes out with them. Yeah, I feel like I could handle myself pretty well with those weapons and the terrible shots of the NWA. So, and if we had to ground and pound, we'd figure it out. So, but I do like the idea of the zombie apocalypse too, because my next question is sounds like everybody feels like we could survive the Shaun of the Dead zombie apocalypse. What would you do? What would be your plan?
That's good content for those listening on Spotify.
That's great.
Wherever you get your podcast.
Definitely something you should probably check out the YouTube channel. The Call Guys podcast. Or the Call Guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think we hold up somewhere safe, familiar, somewhere I know where the exits are, somewhere I could smoke and drink. I don't smoke, but that's part of the movie. So, not a flat that's just gross. Look at the state of it. We wouldn't be here.
On a serious note, what would you guys do? Give a legitimate answer.
Listen, I'm about to head towards Amish country, so I'm gonna go find me a nice Amish family that'll take us in, because they can already live halfway off the grid. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to live fully off the grid, and we can create a commune together and live in Amish territory. That's where I'd go.
And once that farmland gets overran, we'll go find a prison somewhere, and we'll lock that down as well. Like, we'll figure it out.
We'll find the hilltop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh gosh, Jordan, what would you do? Shut up! Come on, guys.
Sorry.
I don't know. I think Jake gave a good answer. I was just making fun of it there a little bit.
Go to the Amish.
I mean, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, I got nothing for that.
Okay, Tony, what about you?
Well, it seems like they don't have a good ability to climb. So it would definitely be, on a roof, or at least in some sort of attic where I could, have something on top of the door. Just keep it door locked and shut as best as possible. But just try to stay high and above where they have to climb up. And it seems like they can't do that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking somewhere where I can at least reach down and just stab him in the head. Remove the brain. Yeah. Good answers. Hey, let us know at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. What do you think you would survive? The zombie apocalypse? A town shootout with terrible shots? Or the old alien invasion? Let us know. Love to hear from you. So, as transitions go, we will transition seamlessly into our very first movie. This wonderful, wonderful movie from 2004. The zombie rom-com of a lifetime. Every generation should watch this movie. It is Shaun of the Dead. The first movie that we have with Edgar Wright at the helm. And boy, oh boy, what a fantastic movie to start out with when you're wanting to just make kind of 3 movies. And him and Simon Pegg kind of got it together and wrote this movie. Took their time, did it right. Great cast. I've told you in my ranking of the Cornetto Trilogy, this movie now has taken just a slight lead over Hot Fuzz because of one thing and one thing only, and that is space. Tony, tell the listeners who haven't watched Space, give us a little preview. What do you like about Space so much? The first season.
So, for those who don't know, Spaced is basically the show that started giving Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and the other creative team behind these movies the reputation that they could pull off movies. So it was a show that if you watch it, you will see every piece of DNA that is in the Cornetto Trilogy in this show. The choreography, the writing style, the acting, everything is just basically there when it comes to a TV show. It's Simon Pegg meeting with a stranger, and they go ahead and they get in a trick a landlady into having an apartment together, and hijinks ensue. And it's just really an interesting. It's a great comedy, but it was different at the time in which nothing really like that had been done before. And it was if you do like these movies, I highly recommend going back and watching Space, especially the first series. The second series is not as good.
Parts and pieces in Space, I feel like the second season. But yeah, the first season is just gold. It's really good. Anybody who enjoys Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, give this show a go. It's fantastic. It's fun. You got to hang on for the British humor and comedy, so some of it might miss, but all in all, solid episode. Anybody who's a fan of the Cornetto Trilogy needs to watch Space. So, Jake, Jordan, have you guys seen Space?
Have not.
Nope.
Okay. I'd be curious about your guys' if you watched it. How long it would take you to get through it? Because it's kind of tough.
It's not that long.
I know it's not long, but sometimes it's kind of tough for somebody who's never watched British, kind of a lot of a British comedy like that. It's kind of tough to get through sometimes. But yeah, we'll go through some of the actors and actresses real quick, and kind of go through some favorites, favorite parts, least favorite parts of the movie, and we'll kind of get through it. We got Simon Pegg as Sean. Nick Frost is Ed. Kate Ashfield as Liz. We have Lucy Davis as Diane. Dylan Moran as David. And really, that's about all we really need to know. Is there anybody else from a main character standpoint that really sticks out to you in this movie? Any character out there that you really enjoyed outside of like the main crew? Philip, come on.
It's gotta be Philip.
Bill Knight. I mean, you get a character like Bill there. He is just fantastic. He is a very accomplished actor, and how they got him to do these movies is just amazing. One of the best things about this trilogy is that he is in them. So he's in all 3. He's one of 8 people who are in all 3. So I thought that's really, really cool. Really enjoy him as an actor too. And I mean, just when they're talking about how are they going to get from the apartment to the Winchester and bashing Philip ahead gets me every time.
Wait for all this to blow over.
Exactly. Anybody else? Any characters out there that you guys really enjoy outside of, like I said, outside of the main crew?
I mean, Pete is great. Mainly because of the line. Yeah, Pete. Boy, prick.
Oh, frick.
It's not him. Great. But Pete's a riot. He's in Spaced as well. Plays basically the same character.
Yep.
Yeah, so always good to see him play sort of the asshole.
I mean, I'm not. Here you go, Jake. I'll just for my name pronouncing. His name is Peter.
Uh-huh.
Oh God.
Go ahead.
Serafowicz. Hey Peter, let us know at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com if I nailed that last name or not.
Serafinowicz?
That's how I would say it.
I mean, that's 100% how it's pronounced. Is what I just heard. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. That's how it's pronounced. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you said. Absolutely.
Noted. I said it worse. I said it much worse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would agree with Pete. That's a good one. Listen, I'm not saying it was you. Say it was that. Oh.
Sort your fucking life out, mate.
Yeah. I think right before that's good too. He's like, he can be a laugh. Remember we stayed up all night drinking apple schnapps and playing Dance and Do? That was 5 years ago. So he sells a bit of weed now and then. You did it, yeah, once to you. That's all great. It's all great lines delivered exceptionally well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I was telling you or my wife. I don't remember the actors and actresses that they had that mirror moment. Or that was you, Colton. It was you and me on the phone. That's right. Where they had that mirror moment where Nick and his friend, I forget her name. I don't even remember.
Sean? You mean Sean?
Sorry, yes, Sean.
Yvonne.
That's what
Yvonne.
Sean and Yvonne.
Who is Tony?
Who is in Stacy in Spaced.
So she is the main actress in Space.
Yeah.
Which makes, like I said, the connection between Space and Shaun of the Dead is just phenomenal on so many levels. Once you watch Space, you have a whole new appreciation for Shaun of the Dead. But yeah, Jake, continue with that scene.
Yeah, no, I mean the moment where they meet, their groups run into each other, and it's one of like the 3 or 4 jump scares that they like attempt in the movie, but it's like comical jump scares. Like it's not an actual scary movie scare, which is why Colton, you enjoy it and you'll actually watch it because it's not actually scary. But they do make this abrupt like boom, and like they put a score behind it that's shocking. But then they meet and they get introduced to. Each group gets introduced, and then they each represent the counterpart of the same group. And then they have this great scene where they crisscross each other. So, like, because you could see the wide shot of the groups, they go back and forth, and then the camera sets, and they each enter one at a time into the scene and just say hello to each other. But they say it in the way that the characters mirror each other. It's not just the same. It's all. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's a shot that, the scene is like 20 seconds of like film time, right? Like if that, and it's just beautiful and it's awesome. I just love it. So I love that moment and all those characters who are, they get to say one word or maybe even not a word.
I mean, Martin Freeman did that. I mean, that's incredible.
This is way, way famous. Way, way famous. Martin Freeman. Jordan, you got anything, man?
As far as like favorite,
what you got in the characters? I just went to scene. I don't even care about Colton leading the ship. I just went right to the scene. I went from character to the scene.
Here's the thing that I'm trying to stimulate. Maybe you have a character that you really, really enjoy, that leads you to why it's one of your favorite scenes.
Gotcha. I mean, favorite character in Shaun of the Dead, it's got to be Ed. I think for me, I think he just
That's an
drives a
amazing
lot of
orangutan.
a lot of the comedy in it, a lot of the laughs come from Ed, and just even just him, some of the banter, just him not paying attention, and a lot of the one-liners. It's got to be Ed for me for sure.
His phone call. Right outside. 2 seconds. He says it twice, right? And then like everyone stops. For that moment where he's just telling me. His zombies are just.
Oh my god!
There's a girl in the garden.
It's a girl in the garden.
What?
It's a girl in the garden.
The god. Oh, that's great. That is great.
Yeah. So
That is
one scene from that I really enjoyed from Ed's perspective is him. Edgar Wright does a really good job of kind of foreshadowing, actually telling you kind of what's going to happen in the movie kind of later on.
Oh,
so
yeah.
some of that movie prediction within the movie itself. And his whole kind of cutscene as far as talking about the plan. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You know, we're going to go, get a Bloody Mary, go take a bite of the king's head, get a couple with the princess, stagger back here, and then bang, we're at the bar for shots, that type of thing. And if you actually break that down, that's literally the movie itself, which is really cool. But it's just this one little one-liner drunk in the bar scene with Ed that's actually the movie. And so it's kind of the brilliance of Edgar Wright and what he does and kind of breaks it out. So, again, that's why I think Ed's my favorite.
Every one of his movies in this Cornetto trilogy has that same thing where something happens in the beginning of the movie and is literally the entire plot for the movie. And I do think that is one of the best things. Another thing that makes this trilogy so great is that it's little stuff like that, because you don't catch that the first time. You don't even catch it the second or third time you watch it. But after you've watched it enough, you're trying to find something new, you start like thinking, oh crap, that sounds really familiar. And bam. That's I mean, this trilogy is just so good.
Yeah.
Oh man. Do we have a all-time favorite scene? Does anybody have an all-time favorite scene from this movie? Because I feel like this one has the best iconic scenes of the trilogy. Jake, I see a hand raised.
Yes. So I enjoy the crisscross. I think it's very smart. I think it's beautiful. It's too short to be my absolute favorite though. My absolute favorite is the morning. Is literally the beginning. Is the opening credits. They are zombies already, right? So it's like the whole thing is just foreshadowing zombies the entire time, and it's just normal. They're all the checkout's like super slow, and everyone's the same. And then as Nick gets in the morning and he leaves to go to the shop and he exits, everything he does, from the way he slips to where he goes to the soccer ball, the car, the door,
trips on the curb,
like goes into the shop, like everything happens in real life, and then the morning of the apocalypse he does it again, but because he's hungover from the night before, he doesn't pay attention to anything. But it all happened similarly, but we're just watching this going, what is this? It's all zombie apocalypse now, and he just doesn't notice it. And it's just awesome how they mirrored each other, and that's why I like the X and they mirror. But that's a much longer scene, and I love it. I just love it. It's a great way to start the movie and then start the zombie apocalypse. Like, perfect.
I thought it was. I love that scene too, because I feel like it really captures the day-to-day mundane life of feeling like you are a zombie at your job, and it's just mind-numbing, and it's just muscle memory. And then it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I agree.
It's also good because if you've never, we've all seen this movie. Well, I'll speak for myself, lots and lots and lots and lots of times. And so now, just knowing that it's a genius, well put together and executed movie is just known. But back then, when you're first watching it, you have no idea what you're in for. You may have seen the trailer, but you don't know. But that opening scene that you've just described perfectly sets up, like, oh, I'm watching something intelligent but funny. They've really thought through how to showcase this world and this character and characters, but also have so much depth to it to where you have to think. You could watch it over and over again and get something more out of it each time for quite a while. They really helped set up the whole Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, I heard some commentary from Edgar Wright on that scene in particular, and he said that's how he actually wanted to start the film. That was the first scene that he actually did, and what his strategy was to actually put in so much detail throughout that they couldn't cut anything out. So he wanted it to be at this here, the soccer ball you're talking about, curve, wiping the window, the guy with the money, like all these little details are all these callbacks in the next version of it. I thought it was very interesting that he wanted a challenging scene like that. That was really incredible. I kind of made the movie. So.
Yeah, and I love that the zombie apocalypse starts, and we don't care how it started. Like, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
That's never a challenge to figure out why or how or a cure or like none of it. None of that is ever the challenge or the main conflict in the movie. It's just this relationship that he wants to continue, and like that how we're going to figure out where to go to the safest place that feels the place that feels the safest to the group, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to try and survive, and it just doesn't matter. Like, it never mattered. It never mattered why it started. It doesn't need to be mentioned. It's just, let's just go. Like, we're just in it.
They communicated the two big rules, which were basically it's done through biting.
Yeah.
And then the way to kill him is, smash the brains in.
That's
really the only two bits you get.
You don't need any more. Let's make a zombie movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a good point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is there anything in this movie you don't? Oh, Jordan, you got something else, man.
Well, I have a favorite scene.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh gosh,
that was just one from that. It's very, very short. Just this little thing.
Okay.
It's Sean and Ed kind of going back and forth. Actually, it's the whole group when they're practicing to be zombies as they're trying to walk through, and it's their interaction there. And Ed telling Sean, it's like, "What? Who died and made you and king of the zombies?" And then Sean does this impression, and it's incredible. And it's Sean's smirk after he does that because he knows he nailed it. And I'm like, that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yes,
I sent it to you.
We've talked. You've talked about getting that little like clip of where he just perks up and is like so proud of the fact that he was reinforced that his zombie impersonation was good.
He was great. It was incredible. That was one of my favorites.
It's good. It's good. I love it. I love it. Is there anything we don't like about this movie? If we could change anything about this movie, what would you change?
I guess if I have to nitpick anything, I think I wasn't overly happy with the casting choice of David. I wish they could have maybe got someone a little bit stronger for David. He came off just a little, I don't know, flat to me.
I thought he nailed it because he nailed the annoying friend in the group who is only in the friend group because of Liz, essentially. And I thought he nailed it because of that halfway through. I mean, you first talk to him, and Sean hits him with a "get effed 4 eyes." Yeah. And I don't know how many times I would tell that to people. Would say that line, but I mean, I thought it was a good casting because of just how annoying he was. And I felt like that's what that character was. But I totally agree with you because the way he unravels at the end, it's just like, okay, like, I mean, you got to do something, and somebody has to get eaten, like he gets eaten. You know, it's a zombie movie. Come on.
You had to have one gruesome death
Correct.
in the zombie movie, so.
Correct. Anybody else?
I can't think of anything.
I would actually change the ending. I think you can. I get it. It was a happy ending, right? Like it felt good because now and they made a little joke that you can like, yeah, right? Like he plays video games with him and he actually beats him now. And some of the zombies, like they have games now where they have zombies in a game show, and like
I'm married to a zombie.
Right, like that. Those jokes are good. They're not anywhere near my top 10 list of jokes for the movie.
I agree.
They're just fluff at the end. I think you could just leave with, Liz and Sean end up coming up, right, and then they're able to escape, and you just see them kind of escape off, and they're just not sure about what's going to happen and where they're going to go, and they make some sort of like line of like, but they're still together, and like that could have been a way to just end it, and maybe not been this thing where like, oh, all of a sudden the police show up and they just kill all the zombies and we're okay. Like I mean, I don't know, that just didn't seem as realistic, but that's just again nitpicking. It's fine. The ending's fine. It's good, but I would change the ending.
Solid. Don't disagree with that. Glad somebody made it.
What?
No.
What would you change, Colton?
What would I change?
Sure.
I'm kind of with you. It's the ending. It's the world's shortest zombie apocalypse that ever goes on, and they kind of just. I think zombies are now just an everyday part of life now, and you got to end it somehow. And I love the callback to Player 2, the video game call out.
Player 2 has entered the match. Don't you have to go to work? Player 2 has left the match.
Exactly. Love that callback. So yeah, it's the ending, but how do you end something like this? That's just utter nonsense from start to finish. So you end it with more nonsense. So, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much Shaun of the Dead, guys. We talked about it. I don't know if it was pre-production meeting or at the very, very beginning of this, but yeah, if this ends up to be 3 hours, we could talk 2.5 hours on just Shaun of the Dead.
It's true. This is my second most quoted film in my daily life. The first being Starship Troopers. So this is very highly rated in my list of movies, and I quote it all the time. Colton, you and I are constantly throwing Shaun of the Dead lines at each other almost on a weekly basis.
I forgot about that. I did know that. I knew that from a previous episode. I forgot. Came back to me. Thank you for sharing that again. I'm doing my part. we were just surprised with the Starship Troopers, which I knew that from Tony from a previous episode, but it had been lost in my brain, and now it came back, and I just appreciate that is like the number one quoted movie. It's rightfully so. It's underrated.
For me, I'm weird. I understand this.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. I think for us, this one might be number 2 as well, right behind Rush Hour 2.
I've got a couple here. To get at Four Eyes. It's on random. That one comes up. Feel free to step in at any time.
Feel free to step in
anytime. You doing all right?
Somebody kill the queen.
All right.
It's okay, Barbara. I ran it under a cold tap.
It's good.
We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Oh no, it looks like we're gonna have to take the Jag.
Jordan, you got any other quotes out there?
Nothing that I wrote down. I think those were the 4 that I had. The other one was...
We'll just go through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Let's just go for it.
The Who Died and Made You King of the F. Just classic.
Another very underrated is when they've got the Bloody Mary in the garden with the big guy, and they're throwing the records, and they're going through which records.
Purple Rain, throw it.
The Batman soundtrack.
That's the second album of a boss.
Okay, let's pump the brakes on the quotes here. Okay, if we're gonna get to our surprise, and you guys, pump the brakes here. Okay.
Like I said, we could probably quote this entire movie.
We got a surprise. Okay, let's get to the surprise at the end of the episode.
Sorry, my fault.
All good.
We're good.
I do have some other little tidbits that I can tip in for Shaun of the Dead.
What do you got?
Yeah, so one thing as far as like where the Cornettos actually come in the trilogy, it actually was a hangover food for Edgar Wright, the director. That he just wanted to kind of sprinkle in there. I thought that was kind of interesting. It was for his college buddies to see if they noticed that it was in there. So I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of tidbit that he put in there. What else do I have? The pizza shop that's next to the convenience stores is named Bubs, and that is actually a callback to Day of the Dead for George A. Romero. The zombie, that guy in there, the zombie in that one is actually named Bubs. So there's kind of a little trivia there as well.
I could see him doing
all these
that.
little things kind of sprinkled in there that kind of the brilliance of Edgar Wright. So that was kind of cool. So I think that's all I got. They're cool.
No, that's great, man. That's great. That is awesome, man. Love learning stuff about this movie, and you just can always keep learning stuff about this movie. Fun little fact here. What do you think the budget was for this movie?
Can we hold on maybe budget and talk like that?
Okay.
Can we talk about it at the end?
Okay, we'll talk about it at the end. Glad we had that pre-production meeting. We had a pre-production meeting.
I'm sorry that the surprise you're not privy to the information within the surprise, but we will talk about that at the end.
Okay.
I appreciate you trying to bring it up, though. It's important, and it will be talked about.
We will digress from that. We will end this movie with this movie on Rotten Tomatoes is 92%. Is this properly rated? Yes or no? And if it's not, what should it be? Because I feel like we're all going to say it's not properly rated.
It's underrated. I'll be the first one to admit. Let's get that 92 up. That's an A minus. Let's get that bad boy up, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna get it up.
Yeah, okay. I'd say so. 90. It's like a strong 95, maybe 96. 95. I'd say 95, 96.
Jordan?
I would agree with that. Yeah, the 92, like you said, A minus there. It's got to be at least 95.
Okay. I'll chime in here and obviously say this is underrated. This is nowhere near what it should be. I believe though it is like 98.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think this movie missed. I mean, you have to take a fine-tooth comb and nitpick this thing, and really have to just if one of your complaints is they're British, come on, like this is you should not be watching this movie or giving this movie a fair shakedown. Plain and simple. Tony, I feel like you also feel the same way. Would you think that's fair to say?
It's if you love that, it's a really good example of what British humor can be when it's done absolutely 100% right. Again, Space. If you love this movie, Space is great. It's basically, if you could take that quality and put it in a even tinier budgeted TV show, it's exactly what the first series of Space is.
Yep. So you were muted there at that hot second. What would you give this? What rating would you give this?
I mean, I would say, I want to say 100, but that's, you never give anything 100. I would say I'm going to do with the 98.
I think that's fair. I think the 98s have it. So, I mean, I think we like I said, we got 2 more movies to talk about. Obviously, we all love Shaun of the Dead. The second trilogy movie, this one came out in 2007, a couple years later. This movie is your typical action movie, I would say, to an extent, and it's the same people. Just imagine the same people running the show. We got Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Edgar Wright writing it, and this movie is obviously Hot Fuzz, where we go through Simon Pegg's character, Nicholas Angle. Nothing. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Got nothing. And it goes through his journey of pretty much getting kicked out of the London police force.
Service. Special service. Yeah. Your vocab guidelines determine that the force is too aggressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was so hoping he would say that. Oh, beautiful.
You teed it up nicely.
And then it goes with him going to Samford, a little place out in the country, and he pretty much is the best cop when he gets there, and he runs into a corrupted town, NWA, and the hijinks and solving the mystery of what's going on in this town, and then at the end solving it the old fashioned way with a good old fashioned gun shootout.
And the NWA is the Neighborhood Watch Association, is that correct? Not the 90s rap group. Just wanted to clear that up for anyone who's listening, maybe hasn't seen the show and they're expecting someone else when they tee this one up. They're like, oh my.
Yeah, Ice Cube is not in this.
Ice Cube is not in this.
Neighborhood Watch Alliance.
Alliance. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Alliance.
Oh my gosh.
But what I really liked about Hot Fuzz is when you have a creative team, especially, I mean, this happened forever and happens today, when they get together and make a quote unquote sequel, it's a direct sequel to the previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
What's great about this is it's no way affiliated, it's tied in, it's a full separate standalone movie, and it's a different shift in tone. It's a shift in tone. The main character that Simon Pegg plays was kind of a dumb idiot in the first one, is now like, an intelligent badass in this one, which shows some versatility. So it's great that they did, while there's still like a lot of the same foundation and core and style and writing skills there, it's definitely a different movie, which really helps with the rewatchability of the Cornetto Trilogy. Is, you're in the mood for a zombie movie, you got one. If you want an action movie, you got one. I do really appreciate that with this being a different movie than Shaun of the Dead.
I think it's a great point you brought up, Tony, because I was going to say that's one of the things that I think what makes this movie so good, with it being a kind of a sequel, but not really a sequel, because it's the same thing, but completely different than what we got in the first movie. And like you, I really, really appreciate that. I think it just goes to show how good Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg were as the writers for this. I think it just proves that that's how much better they were. So yeah, we're gonna get. What are we? I'm trying to think of how we did this. We talked so much about stinking Shaun of the Dead. I kind of forget how we did it the last time. So we're just gonna go into the actors right now. Obviously, Simon Pegg, Nicholas Angel, Nick Frost, PC, Danny Butterman, Martin Freeman, quick in the beginning. Bill Nighy, quick in the beginning. Let's get to some.
Olivia Colman. Come on, Olivia Colman, Doris Thatcher. Murder.
Paul Freeman. Huh? Anybody? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Ivan Ooze? It's the only thing good about that movie. It's really brought the acting chops to it. Met Timothy Dalton. I thought he was really good as Simon Skinner. The Andes. We get our first look at Patty Considine. Good lord. Names.
That's a tough one. That's a tough name.
Oh my. And we got the other Andy. Gosh, Rothspal. He's good. I like the Andys in this. Doris Thatch.
Should ask him who played Lilo and Stitch again.
Let's not. I mean,
Right.
we get just some really, really good characters through this whole thing. Again, another out of the park casting for this movie. Do we have a favorite character outside of, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost?
Oh, Timothy Dalton for sure. I've always, I grew up with Timothy Dalton, all the James Bond movies and such, and always seen him as more of a serious actor. And it was really great just to see him have fun with a role and just go for it. It was wonderful to see him get to play that character.
I like that. Jordan, you got something? You look like you got something.
No, I'm just looking over the character list here as well. Maybe. Well, it's tough, right? You can't pick, Simon Pegg or Nick Frost, so
Yeah.
kind of tough here. I do like Bill Nye in it, or Steve Coogan, who was the guy after Martin Freeman. He was like, "You sure you want to take this?
You sure you want to take this?
You want to do this?" And it just kind of goes right there. I thought that was very cleverly done there at the beginning. If I had to pick someone else, it might be just that little series. There's those three together. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty cool scene too, because Martin Freeman's character said it's a pretty little town has won Village of the Year. I don't know how many times. Right? It's like they just tease the fact that they've won Village of the Year, and that's literally the epitome of the entire movie. Is this village trying to upkeep their posture in this magazine to win Village of the Year, and that's why they're doing all these terrible things just to make sure. But it doesn't really. But the thing is like, it doesn't really matter. Like he doesn't remember how many times they've won it. It's just, that's an interesting dichotomy that's in there. But yeah, no, I love it. I do. I love that entire scene in the beginning too. Yes, I can. I'm the chief inspector.
Yes, I can.
There's one thing you haven't taken into account, and that's how the team was going to think of this. Congrats.
Bon voyage.
Yeah. Honestly, you've been making us all look bad.
Another great opener scene. Great opening scene.
I don't know.
I loved how they carried over, like, you got Red on You from Shaun of the Dead. The same thing here is House of the Hand after you get stabbed.
It's a little bit stiff.
It's a little bit stiff.
It was just that thing that just kind of carried over from the first movie to this one as well. But like you said, it's a completely different movie, but it's the same kind of premise there. I like that with those characters. Still a bit stiff.
Oh my. Tony, do you have one? Oh wait, no, you said
yeah. Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton.
Well, I will throw out a Bill Bailey nod, because Bill Bailey's pretty big in the UK as a comedian. He also was in Spaced with these guys. It's good to see him play another character in Sergeant Turner in this movie.
I'm gonna go with Michael Armstrong.
He tells me nothing. Sorry, go ahead, Cole.
Nobody tells me nothing. It's a good line. Good character. Just a great character. Rory McCann. This movie has some sneaky big time actors and actresses in this movie, which is phenomenal. That's another reason why I love this. I think the cameos in this movie are fantastic because Rory McCann is only known for one role now.
The
He is
Mountain.
He is
Well,
the
Hound,
Hound.
Hound, sorry.
He is the Hound in Game of Thrones, and he looks nothing like it. Yarp. Narp. Good. He's not gonna get up. Oh gosh. Another really good quotable movie. Okay, fellas, what are some? We got some. Oh,
I forgot. Kate Blanchett has to be my favorite.
Blanchett, yeah.
Blanchett, that little cameo there at the beginning as the one of the CSI, yeah, at the crime scene there at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it was kind of funny. Edgar Wright was talking about having like Oscar-worthy people in here as well, but it was just funny. It was the mask the whole time. It was just her eyes showing, and to have someone kind of that caliber as well in the movie to do something in that role, I thought that was pretty cool. So I just want to mention that one as well.
Yes, for her to do that, do that bit, had to have been just amazing, because I'm sure everybody was thinking, who the heck was Edgar Wright talking about for that? I agree. Kate Blanchett, and in the beginning montage when they're talking about Nicholas Angel's accolades and whatnot, how he gets stabbed in the hand by a man of Saint Nick. Do you know who that Santa Claus was? Who played that Santa Claus?
Nope.
Just a nobody named Peter Jackson.
No.
Yeah, that Peter Jackson. Yep, you're thinking of him. What the heck is he doing in this movie? Let alone playing a guy stabbing somebody as Santa.
Father Christmas.
Father Christmas.
Just as Father Christmas.
I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. But yeah, you also said with Steve Coogan Jordan at the beginning. I think a lot of people here probably know him as the guy from The Other Guys. So just a wild cast here again. Do we have let's just get into some favorite scenes, fellas. What are we thinking? Yeah, I know. I already got one for you, Jake, and that's jog on.
There it is. You quote that thing every time. What's your most quotable line from this? No, I think it's multiple scenes, but then something that always gets quoted back is basically where Nick Frost's character, where Danny will continuously talk about some of like the police work that that Nicholas has seen, and he'll continue to ask him and berate him with questions and different things throughout. It just continues throughout about, have you ever been in a high speed pursuit? Have you ever fired your gun whilst in a high speed pursuit? Have you ever fired a gun or fired your one gun while jumping through the air? Have you ever fired two guns while jumping through the air? Have you ever fired your gun in the air? Did you cook any fools? Did you shoot anybody? That's just great. And then towards the end, when he's almost wanting, he like challenging Nicholas to like a line off, where he's like, did you tell him to cool off? And you pushed him in the freezer. You tell him to cool off, and he goes, shame.
Yes.
Yes. I have used that GIF or GIF, however you say it. Like, I've used that shame to respond many a time in a group text.
But I did toss him the monkey. So fashionably, I'd say playtime's over. We're off that and chain.
I like that because it just goes. I mean, that is the movie, right? That is like it's just strung throughout of all of it. So I know your question was one scene, but that's just.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
It just keeps coming back.
It's a great scene. My favorite is the beginning of that whole montage when he's in the bar and he scoots his chair over closer to him in the bar. He starts asking him the questions.
What does he ask him when he scoots over? What was he asking? Do you remember?
I can't remember right now.
What was it like being stabbed?
Oh, yes.
And his answer?
Single most painful thing I've never had happen. What was the
What's the
second?
second?
Yes. No, that is a great follow-up to that answer. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my. I'm trying to think of other scenes that I just. One one of my favorite underrated things is when they're at the we can't take tickets from people we've officially Would you guys like to represent us at the shows tonight?
Okay, got an extra for Danny.
Extra for Danny. Yay!
Yay!
And their face. I've replayed that one for Colton. I replayed that one for you. So when they're doing the Romeo and Juliet, and it's just absolutely awful. And I love the callback later where he says, "Well, he murdered Bill Shakespeare." It's like, he did.
He doesn't even fight it. He doesn't even fight it in that scene. He's like,
yeah, he did. But so like the end scene occurs, right? He lays down. He goes, "Now," and like it's so audible in the movie. and then she says it anyway. So when they get done, and she goes, "Bang," and then it's this cut to
the chorus line of "Love Me,"
and they cut to watching in the stands, and he's so shocked. His eyes are so wide that I've replayed that for you, Cole, because I think you missed it the first time we watched it, and I made you rewatch it, and I'm like, watch his face, because it's great.
I watch it every time now.
Have you noticed in that scene that the entire NWA is right behind them?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Everyone.
It is.
Like,
yep.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of in the dark, and they're right there, ominously right behind them. It's kind of a cool little plug.
Probably there. They were probably there for the greater good.
Yeah, greater good.
So I have two scenes for me.
Okay. What do we got?
Very short, silly. The first one is the fence jumping. Right. It's going to be a
nice callback.
Nice callback to Shaun of the Dead. When
You afraid, David? Little shortcut?
try to jump over the fence and kind of falls over, that type of thing. And so then this character with Nicholas Angel, obviously he's super cop. He's the cop who can't be stopped, right? And is able to jump over the fences. Yeah, he does all of these acrobatic, over these fences. And so it was a really cool callback, kind of to Shaun of the Dead, and then here
the Nick Frost just barrels through.
Yeah.
I start laughing. I literally start laughing when he starts running.
Yeah. So that's one for me that I was like, that's a cool callback. The other one is the gunfight at the end in the grocery store when they're shooting at the butchers behind the counter, and apparently that glass is bulletproof. I don't know, right? They
It is.
So many shotgun like everything you can imagine, and then they ram it with shopping carts and it breaks. What is it? It's just so ridiculously funny and stupid that I laugh every single time when I see that glass break. I was like, seriously?
Because then they're foiled. They're foiled at that point in time.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, I guess they got us. What?
It's so stupid. But anyway, those are mine.
Great. Tony, you got one.
You guys have called out the best ones for sure, but I will point out that this movie does a good job of paying homage to cop movies. Bad Boys 2, Point Break.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't seem forced. Like, it's a lot of times when a movie does things like this, it just seems out of place and is never well executed. But this movie, it fits right in to do the Point Break rolling across the ground while shooting, bang, bang, bang. It all fits quite well, and I do enjoy those moments quite a bit.
One of the fun things I learned about doing some research on this movie is that Edgar Wright wanted oh my gosh, names, Nick Frost, to watch some action movies. He gave him like 20 movies to watch. He watched one. What movie do you think he watched?
Point Break.
Point Break.
Bad Boys 2. He watched Bad Boys 2. And, oh my gosh, just fantastic stuff there. But yeah, I thought that was really cool to see. And that whole movie collection in that, Point Break or Bad Boys 2 scene is actually a movie collection of, like, Edgar Wright's and, like, another person's whole movie collection they just put back there for that scene. I thought that was really, really cool. Another fun little tidbit is the end where the shootout has begun and they now get into their cars and it's a car chase and they have the three judges. Do we know who the three judges are? One is Edgar Wright's mother, one is Simon Pegg's mother, and I forget who the man is in that. I think he's just a person. Village of the Year, Peter Wilde. I don't know who that is. Anyway, doesn't matter. They both got their moms to be in the movie. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing for them to do. Yeah, the fence scene, it's fantastic. It is just absolutely fantastic. Great callback to Shaun of the Dead.
Like a lot of the times, the callbacks are lines or they're subtle, but the fence scene is throughout the three movies is the one of the only visual carry-throughs in the movie.
Yes, it is. It's probably the most predominant of the three for a visual gag or visual effect. Because there's a couple other ones that are there, but you really got to see them or hear them. Right. So, yeah, man. There's Hot Fuzz. Anything else you guys want to talk about when it comes to Hot Fuzz? I see we're thinking still.
Nope.
We're thinking. I thought one of the cool things at the end of the movie. I'm sorry. One of the cool things, Edgar Wright, he had a band. One of his favorite bands. He was trying to get him into the movies the whole time. Well, they wrote the last song, the Hot Fuzz song at the end. And I cannot for the life of me find who that dang band is. Should have wrote it down. But
Shame.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. Another interesting tidbit, Super Cop, Meet the Cop, Can't Be Stopped. There is a movie in the Bend called like Zombie Island or Zombie Paradise or something like that, which is apparently what Shaun of the Dead was called in overseas markets. So that was really cool to have that little homage to good old Shaun of the Dead there too. So this movie, I won't tell you how much this movie made, but this movie is rated at 91% on the old Rotten Tomatoes. Do we believe that is properly rated?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it's right there. I'm going to say it needs to be a 91. Yes. I believe that is accurate and true.
Okay.
I would go slightly underrated. I bump it up to probably 93 range, just slightly under Shaun of the Dead. It's kind of where I have it, but they're pretty neck and neck. So I'd give it a couple points bump up for sure.
Fair enough. Tony?
I normally find myself in the unpopular camp in this one, where I idolize Shaun of the Dead so much. And 2004, I was just out of high school, dating myself, I know. And then Hot Fuzz came out a few years later, and I was just like, you couldn't, like, Shaun of the Dead had set the bar so high. I remember leaving after watching it kind of disappointed. It's not that it's a bad movie, but I had done a horrible thing and set my expectations quite a bit high. I don't think it lands quite as well as Shaun of the Dead. It felt quite short for me. I would say, in terms of the rating, 90, 91, I think is fair. I could see it around 88, 89.
Okay. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I'm going to go with Jordan, though. I'm siding with him on this one. Underrated. I'd probably go 93, though.
Yep.
I think that's fair. I think, to Tony's point, this movie gets better the more you watch it.
I will agree with that.
I felt like this movie, out of all the movies, this one, the more you watch it, the better it gets because there's just so much in every stinking scene that is just so dang comical. So yeah, that is Hot Fuzz. We are to our last layer of the Cornetto Trilogy right here with this 2013, much later film called The World's End. This essentially, it's directed by Edgar Wright, written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, as we all know by now. But the plot of this movie is that Edgar Wright's character, Gary King,
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, thank you, I appreciate that, Jake.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Tom Allen. Go ahead.
Gary King is wanting to relive some of his glory days, where they wanted to do a pub crawl in their town to go to these pubs all in one night and visit. And they talk about how they didn't get to the end, they missed it by 2, and how that was the best night ever for Gary King, and how it was only going to be up from there for him. And you find out really quick in the movie that that's not the case at all. At all. He's obviously in some sort of rehab center, and it's about reconnecting with his friends from that night and doing this pub crawl, and then the blanks come out to play, and they find out that their little village that they grew up in is not the same place that it was. Fun fact, there is a woman sitting right next to Simon Pegg's character in that scene in the very beginning, and she asks him a question. Oh no, she doesn't ask him a question, she just looks at him because the guy to the right of him asks a question. Do you recognize that character at all?
Nope.
I don't think so.
You don't? Alright, that is Nicola Cunningham. She was in one of the previous Cornetto Trilogy movies. Can you guess which character she was? I'll give you Shaun of the Dead.
She's zombie number 12 in front of the pub.
She's Bloody Mary. I don't know.
She is Bloody Mary.
She is.
Yeah.
Check out. Zombie.
She is
nice.
She is the girl. She is the girl in the garden.
The girl in the garden.
Yes, that is her character in that movie is Bloody Mary, because her name is Mary, pretty much. So that was a great little. I love that they actually were able to get some people from the first movie into this movie as well. So that was really cool to see her come back for this movie. So great little opening Easter egg there that I really enjoyed. This cast, though, is much different, basically because the people in this movie have already started to do stuff. I mean, here we go. It's Simon Pegg, Gary King, Nick Frost, Andy Knightley. Martin frickin' Freeman is in this movie.
But he's in it for like the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
instead of just being a cameo.
He is a dude in this movie. Rosamund Pike. Forgive me.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. Crap, where are the other people?
007, 007,
Yeah.
007, 007, Goldeneye.
Pierce Brosnan's in it. Okay, I give you that. David Bradley.
What's he
No?
from, Colton?
What's he from?
Yeah, without looking up, what's David Bradley from?
Game of Thrones.
Okay, all right, good, well done.
Isn't he also from Harry Potter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone would have said. I figured everyone would have said Harry Potter.
Students out of the beds.
Yes. Patty Connaughton is Steve Prince. Who else do we got? Where the heck is I can't find him. Son of a biscuit eater. Why do they have all these people in a row? IMDb, you're letting me down.
It's okay.
Anyway, I thought it was very interesting that all of the characters' names, last names, were of some sort of royalty. With Gary, his last name being King, and everybody was following him, like, so he was the leader of the group. I liked how Edgar Wright and Simon did that when it just came to naming the characters. I thought that was really
Nick Frost
cool.
is Andy Knightley, right?
Knightley, yep. Nick Frost, and then Martin Freeman is Oliver Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
Patty is Stephen Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And then they call him Old Man. I still can't find that flipping guy. It doesn't matter. It's the first guy that they meet.
It's fine. It's fine, Colton. I mean, if the listeners are this far in this episode, they know what they're getting. Okay? If anybody's first time listening to this, just go back. I mean, there are 100 plus episodes, hundreds. Just this production value is here. It's great. Did you care to ask us our favorite character or scene?
Not yet. Do you have a favorite character? Jake,
Jake,
do you have a favorite character?
I've been nominated. Favorite character. I mean, I appreciate Simon Pegg's character for the fact that because there's such this large gap, and now we watch this movie when we were older, it did feel like we connected with that one person that we knew from high school that still lives in high school and is still all about high school. So it connected that character landed very well. I feel that was really very by choice and very intentional with how they did the writing and the whole premise of the movie. So, I mean, not to be too cliche, but I do think Gary is one of my favorite characters just because it just can throughout the whole movie. It's like he's never wrong, right? Like he has everything original from when they were there in 1994, whatever. I don't remember the year they were quoted at being there, but I just love the little scene at the beginning where it's like they talked about the beast, the car, and it's like, you know, that's just like the car I sold you back in the 90s or whatever. It's like, it is the car. I mean, I changed the, and he lists every component of the car. Yes. The engine, like he just mentions engine, like he didn't change the whole engine. He goes, other than that, it's the same car. Like that's just great. So I appreciate Gary. I think that was a smart character and very, very well done. Again, showing the versatility of Simon Pegg to play different kind of characters and to do it very well.
Yep. Jordan?
I could play off of that. I really appreciated how Simon Pegg and Nick Frost kind of switched character roles, as far as like Nick Frost is always playing the dumb role or, you know, that type of thing. But he was the straight man in this one. He was very much serious, like no nonsense. And then kind of seeing Simon Pegg's character, again, Gary King kind of being the opposite of not buttoned up, you know, as far as like Nicholas Angel was. So I really liked that they can just kind of flip those in reverse and kind of play the other side. I did enjoy that aspect of kind of the character Andy in this one. Kind of show him kind of buttoned up at the beginning, but then as we kind of get into more of the chaos later on, catches up with all those shots and then kind of releases, you know, lets go, releases the beast a little bit and kind of goes nuts there in the middle of the movie. So that's kind of the characters that I like, and just kind of that role reversal.
I would say for me, I can't really put my finger on one in particular. I have a big soft spot for Martin Freeman just finally getting to be in the entirety of a movie in the trilogy. So anytime he was on scene, of course, at this point, this is quite a bit later. It's just 2013. So Martin Freeman's now a much bigger actor in the world. So for him to come and do this movie was impressive. And then, of course, every time he's in a scene, he's great. Rosamund Pike, huge fan of hers, of course. And then Pierce Brosnan, yet another James Bond in a Cornetto Trilogy movie. And Pierce Brosnan was great in this movie.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He's muted.
Yep.
Or is Mike just disconnected? This is great.
Phil, Jake,
Might have been muted.
Phil, okay, no, he's back. We got him back. Okay.
Might have been muted.
Now I can fill him. We had a producer, Eric Filovner. We had another producer. Okay, he's back. All right, great.
You done?
Yep, I was just trying to fill.
very well, I might add.
Oh,
Killing me. Bill Nighy's character, just the voice of
Network.
the network. I thought that was great. I love that whole scene where him and where Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are pretty much telling the network off, and love that. But I think for me, I really like Nick Frost's character a lot. To see his growth, about how much hatred he had towards Simon Pegg's character, and how he's able to kind of forgive him for that, and still try to want to help him out in the end, and be there for him. Especially with everything, Simon Pegg's character was going through this whole thing, and I really appreciate that, because I think, Jake, you nailed it earlier when you were talking about, we watched this movie when we were older. I mean, we've experienced life at this point in time. We've had things happen, and seeing this movie, it's like a breath. It's weird again, from Tony's point from the second movie. It's the same people, but it's a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And it still is able to grab you and keep your attention for the whole movie. Even though this one, I think it's fair to say, this one definitely drops off compared to the other two. But this movie is so much deeper than the other two combined. It's really hit some tough points and parts through this whole movie. And I like how they tackle some of those hurdles. So I really appreciate that, seeing that maturity from them, and be like, hey, let's kind of make a deeper film than what we've been making.
Yeah, Colton, did you notice a difference between when you first watched it to when you maybe just rewatched it recently? Because I had that experience, because this movie came out when I was 21, I think. So I hadn't really had the life experiences of being married or having children or being closer to middle age, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're 40 in the film. To where I am now at 32, I'm actually a lot closer to that and have a lot more life experience and could actually resonate more with the movie now. I did not enjoy this when this came out, because I loved the other two. I propped it up so much, and this one came out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, didn't connect with me at all, and I hated it. I liked it a lot more this time. So I was curious maybe if you had that same effect when you first saw it from when you kind of watched it now.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I think nobody doesn't know this, but I watch the Cornetto Trilogy probably twice a year. I watch it all the time. So it is a movie that I appreciate more and more the more I watch it, because you're right, life has been different for us. It has things have happened, and we go through life, and we've experienced life differently. And this movie, it's weird, because it's hard to remember that this movie is in the Cornetto Trilogy, because I don't, with you, because I was with you, Jordan, man. I was, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz are all the way up here. Then The World's End is like, why did we make such a crap movie? And it's really a good movie if you don't compare it to those two movies.
Yeah.
you have to take it into the account that this is just like the difference between Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. It's the same difference. You have to go into that with this movie, because if you don't, you're going to hate this movie. But it is it is still in the Cornetto Trilogy, and I think I like this movie more and more.
Yeah.
Because this Rotten Tomatoes rating has been this same number for forever, and I'm like, there's no way that is close. But I have gotten myself closer to what this rating is the more I've watched it and the more I've aged, essentially. So, yeah, it's definitely changed from when it first came out to now, obviously.
This movie has always been a bit of a struggle for me, and I think it's because of the points you made. But the big reason for me is Simon Pegg is not really a character and maybe this is just me. It's not really a character I like. I don't really like Simon Pegg's character in this. It's hard to root for him. He's kind of a dick, and so I want to, and I can't, and it's one of the things I really struggle with this movie, which really brings it down in my book in terms of likability within the trilogy itself.
So Tony, I had that same thought on my last watch through this week. I came to the conclusion that I think the reason why we can't relate to Simon Pegg's character in a zombie apocalypse, we can't relate to his character as a cop in a town shootout with, people. But everybody can relate to Gary King to some sort of extent, and I think that's what we don't like, is that I can kind of see some things that he does or some tendencies that he does, and that's like, oh crap, I do that. I could be that way. And I think we don't like that. And we automatically push it away because, nah, it's not me. I can't be that way. No, I don't have any of his tendencies or quirks or anything like that. I'm not selfish like him. I think that's the one thing that really brightened my eyes and gave me a better appreciation for The World's End, is that his character that you've been talking about this whole time, as Simon Pegg the actor has been able to show such range, is that this role that Gary King is the closest thing to reality that he has played that we can relate to, because we can't relate to him during a zombie apocalypse or during the shootout, but a dude who's struggling with mental stuff, health stuff, and wants to go back to the days where it was better and easier. I mean, everybody who's been through stuff can relate to that. And right. we don't like that. We don't go to movies. We don't want to watch a movie if it's going to be if we're going to be oh, that's me on there. I could have done that. This movie's about me. We don't want that. We want an escape. We want a fantasy to an extent. We want to laugh the whole time, or we want to be scared. We want a certain thing. We don't want to see ourselves in the mirror on the big screen.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because Shaun of the Dead, you feel sorry for him, but you're right. You don't really relate to him. I don't think you really want to be him. If you could be in the movie, you necessarily want to be him. Maybe you do, but definitely in Hot Fuzz, you're I want to be Nick Frost. So yeah, you definitely are rooting for him and everything. And then this one, you're right. You do. Yeah, you don't want to be him in this movie, but you're right. You do recognize those traits in people around you or yourself. But that's a good point.
Yeah. Like I said, this movie has grown for me in likability of this movie just because of life, and I relate more now to it. And I think this is just another reason why this trilogy is so good. I just don't think that they missed on any of the movies. Anybody else got some favorite scenes? Got some fun tidbits about the movie they want to share?
I have one.
Okay.
I really liked how Edgar Wright kind of did the callback to Shaun of the Dead, to where they can have references that tell you exactly what's going to happen in the movie. And so if you look at this movie, all of the bar names essentially tell you exactly what's going to happen at each bar. So an example, the first one is called The First Post. Again, that's the first bar. The second one is called The Old Familiar, because it looks exactly like the first bar like gives carbon copy. The two-headed dog is where they fight the twins, kind of thing. I was like, okay, this is really cool. The mermaid, that's where they get the marmalade sandwich and with the girl seducing him. And I'm like, okay. The king's head is where Gary smashes his head to prove that he's not
A blank.
a blank. Yeah. And like the hole in the wall, literally is where they drive the beast into the bar. So it's like kind of a clever, it's like, okay, they're literally going to tell you what's going to happen kind of throughout. So I thought that was kind of clever. And again, kind of that callback to Shaun of the Dead and how he did it there.
The World's End.
Again, the World's End, yeah.
At the very end. And then
The end.
the world ends.
The Beehive. I believe that's where the bar fight takes place.
The famous cock, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's the shiznit, but he turns out he pretty much was a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things that I love, obviously, about the trilogy, one of the three things that's in all movies is the casino game. Ed plays it at the very beginning and at the end of Shaun of the Dead. He plays it again, wins the money, and they freak out. Zombies, whatever. And then Hot Fuzz, it's in the bar. Ed plays it again, I believe. And then in this one, it's in the second to last bar, and the music just plays for it. And you can kind of see it if you look real close. It's off to the side. I love that they threw that little nod in there. Another interesting thing I found out, and this is more of a fan theory than anything else, but if you look at Simon Pegg's hair, it resembles kind of like I think they were talking about the growth of him, how in Shaun of the Dead. Yeah, I got there. Shaun of the Dead, it's kind of red, which resembles the zombies, the blood, and then you have the white and or the blonde, which is kind of like the clean cut cop look, and then you have this look with the black hair and how it was kind of grunge and dirty and how he was just kind of a not so nice character. I was like, man, I don't know about that one. I didn't really like that one, but I think my favorite thing is the Cornettos. Each movie in the Cornettos, the first one had a strawberry Cornetto, zombie blood. Blue, a regular original Cornetto is blue, has blue wrapping on it. Blue for the police. In the last Cornetto for this one is green mint, green for aliens. I love that little tidbit of that in this movie. It's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I love those callbacks there. So anybody else got anything they want to share about this movie? Jake, you've been awfully quiet about this movie.
I mean, listen. We'll get to the rating question here in a second. I guess I'll add on to your Cornetto. So with a bigger gap between the second and now the third movie, we had expectations of what kind of those callbacks would be because you had an idea of where they were. You knew the fence was like a fence jumping was going to be in it. Like that's like, yep, that's going to be there. And you knew there was going to be a Cornetto. Those are the obvious ones, right? You talked about, but it was the timing of when we actually get to see a Cornetto wrapper that I appreciated. Because it's like you just go through the whole movie and you're just like, where is it? Where did I miss it? Did I miss it? Yeah. Did I miss it? Oh, I got to watch this again. I don't know. And then it's just like, it's just interesting to hear him, giving that montage at the end, a monologue at the end, and just talking about, I can't really think of a processed food that I miss. And he goes, it's right there. And he goes, oh, I do miss that. I want a Cornetto. That would be great.
Yes. Yes.
So I just appreciated that. They're they just kept you on the hook for that the entire movie, and then had you guessing, and maybe they just snuck it in somewhere I never even saw it, and then bam, there it was, and you just felt like, oh, awesome, that was a great, yeah, there it was, that's awesome. So I appreciated that for sure out of the movies.
Nice.
Ratings?
Nice. Oh, we want to get to the ratings. This one is somehow rated at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. How do we feel about that one?
It's the biggest discrepancy of critics to audience rating as well. The others were somewhere around 4 to 6% difference, maybe if that. They were much closer, and this one has a 17% gap right now. I'm looking at. So it's always interesting to look at movies that way, right? Like the movies that are either lopsided one way or the other, where you have just an awful critic score, but audiences just love the movie, or it just gets, Reddit users just get on there and start bashing the plus sign on it, or the other way where critics love it, but the audience is doesn't connect with it because it's too highfalutin or whatever that it needs to be, that it's just not going to get there. And so seeing that discrepancy where the critics are a little higher and the audience is a little lower, I think we've touched on it already, is the fact that expectations of what this was going to be were missed by individuals who went to see the movie and then were disappointed because they felt that it wasn't funny enough. There weren't enough one-liners. What jokes landed were a little too close to home. We've talked about that. Like some of those the ways that the characters are portrayed are a little bit too close to how I might act in my life, and so it just didn't feel like a good movie, maybe. But yet, when you take a step back and kind of take the emotion out of it, that you might connect with them, like it is one of the best stories. It is one of the best. Storytelling adventures and where it went, and the realism to it as well was there. How they kept recreating the robots even after they destroy them, and even when you destroy them, they still work. Or sorry, the blanks. I didn't mean to say robots. Can't say that. Can't say that. And then just to get to the end, and like humans will consistently be defiant and they don't want to be ruled, and we want to have free will, and then it's just, okay, well, we're going to take away all the technology, now you're back to the dark ages. That's exactly how it would go given any place around the world. So I think it just didn't land with the audience in the moment, and it's definitely landed with me over the years, and I would say that it's actually a bit underrated. I'd put it to that low 90s. I mean, I'd even put it above Hot Fuzz, really. Still below Shaun of the Dead, because that's just the OG, and it's just too good. But I think it's underrated, honestly, on the critic score, and especially the audience score.
Interesting. Okay. Tony, what do you got? You got something, Tony?
This, to me, has to come with a bit of a disclaimer. I have seen Shaun of the Dead more times than I can count. I've seen Hot Fuzz maybe 12 to 20 times, somewhere in there. This movie I've seen twice.
Oh, dang.
And it's just because the first time I watched it, I was not impressed with it. The second time I watched it, I acknowledged that I liked it more, but I have not gone back and given this movie another watch since. And I do recognize that that's probably holding it down for me. But yeah, I would say from a rating perspective of where I'm at now, I would have to put this towards the bottom of the 80%, like 82, 83 for me. It just seems like this movie, if Shaun of the Dead was almost like the movie you thought about in college with your friends, and you spend years thinking about what it would look like and how you would make things work, and you finally get that moment to make it, and it's perfect. And this movie is almost on the polar opposite of this. It's almost like someone said, "Hey Edgar, we should make a third one," and he's just like, "Ah." And they go, "What about if we back up a big truck of money?" And he's like, "Okay, I guess. Let's just get it over with," kind of thing. But he doesn't half-ass it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they don't pour into it. I just think at this point they're just sort of like a little tired, maybe, and maybe they didn't just put as much energy and effort into it as the previous ones. But this certainly my bias on that, based on the fact that I have seen it probably the fewest amount of times.
Okay. Jordan?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Tony. I have only seen this movie twice. And like I said, the other two I've seen dozens of times. And like I said, when I kind of described it earlier, this came out when I was 21. I had such high expectations. And again, I didn't have any of those life experiences and could not connect with this movie. And I hated it. I mean, I'd give it in the 60% range, right? I did not like this movie at all. Not even close. After rewatching it, 2 days ago, I enjoyed it. I really connected with it a lot more. Like you said, it really is a good story, and I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I get it from like I said, much closer to 40. You can definitely resonate with the characters a lot more. I still think it's overrated slightly. I'm in the mid 80s. I'm 85. I'm like you said, I enjoyed it, but that's a huge jump from where I was coming into it. Even 2 days ago before I watched it, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this movie again. Like I kind of had that in my mind. I was like, all right, let's just do this, make sure I'm at least somewhat prepared. And I'm glad I watched it again because, like I said, it really changed my mind. So I'm curious if I continue to watch it into the future, um, if I'll like it even more and it'll kind of grow, which I think it might actually. So it's very interesting, kind of going back and rewatching it. So that's where I'm at.
Nice. I'm kind of like Jordan to an extent. This whole time I probably give it like mid 70s. But I think now I think it's more true to its actual rating. I'm okay with this 89. I truly am. Because this movie is another movie, just like any other of the Cornettos, that the more you watch, the more you love it. You just pick up on more things each and every time, and it's another good movie. Plain and simple. It's another really good Edgar Wright film. So, Tony, hope you can watch more. You too, Jordan. Hope you can watch it more. Give it a little bit more love. But I understand where you guys are coming from, because watching it the first couple times, no, not there for it. But I understand. Okay. Well, guys, we have made it almost sub 2 hours. Here on the old pod, talking about the old Cornetto Trilogy, and I'm pretty sure we went about 50 minutes on Sean, and about 35 on Hot Fuzz, and about 15 on. Oh my
it just correlates to our amount of watch time for each movie, so it's appropriate. I think it's an appropriate amount for sure.
I agree. Jake, I think we have time. I think we have time for what you are wanting to bring into the pod.
Oh, okay. Well,
but you have a very important thing first.
Yes.
Which is the transition music.
Ooh, yes.
So you ready, Gunner? Can you hit this? Make sure we get this, okay? Pretty good.
That was excellent. That was absolutely excellent. And with that, we are going to
love how excited you are. Let's do this.
Hopefully we share the screen. Okay.
This is going to be great. This will be great for the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Great.
I hope it's recording. I hope it's recording my screen.
I think it is. I sure hope so.
If it's not, it's just us, and I'll describe what it is. It's a very basic Google slide presentation with a very baby blue background a little bit, and it just says "Who Said It" across the top title. And there's a picture of Sean, then there's a picture of Nicholas, and there's a picture of Gary. And
Gary has the best
this-
picture. I love
and
this
this-
picture.
and I apologize for any copyright infringement, but I'll hold these off of Google. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. In this game, okay, this is a game. This is a Who Said It game. I will go to the next slide. You will see a quote on the screen, and you will have your choice of who said it. Did Sean say it? Did Nicholas say it? Or did Gary say it? You can say Nick. I will accept Nick as an answer. He doesn't have to be Nicholas, but that's what I want. We will go around the virtual room, if you will. Colton, we're going to begin with you. All right.
Okay.
Then we will go to Tony, and then we'll go with Jordan. You will each get a question, and then we will rotate. You each will have 6 questions for 6 points. And whoever has the most points wins. And yes, I absolutely have tiebreakers.
Of course.
All right.
I need to preface something real quick. The
Yeah.
last time I saw World's End was like 6 years ago.
Okay. That's fair.
So, Hot Fuzz about 2, Shaun of the Dead recently. So
Okay. That's okay. That is all right. We're going to do our best. And if you're watching or you're listening, you absolutely can play along as well. All right. I will read for those that are not watching, because if I just leave it up there, you're never going to know it listening on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you get your podcast. That's right. Okay. Cool.
I need you to do it as an impression of the character.
Oh no. That's a giveaway. That's too much of a giveaway.
Yeah.
I'll keep my neutral voice.
See the peanut?
See the peanut? Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
It's Joe Dirt reference. Anyway,
Joe Dirt.
Colton, your question.
Okay.
With respect, sir, you can't just make people disappear. Who said it?
Sergeant Nicholas Angel.
That is correct. I don't have like a screen that shows you which one's right. I put this together in like 7 minutes.
Gunner animation here.
Yeah, there's no animation, fireworks, great noises. Yay! Whatever I want it to be. That is correct. Colton, give yourself a point.
Okay.
All right, Tony.
Oh gosh.
That was supposed to be the beginning of my life. All that promise and effing optimism, that feeling that when we could take on the whole universe, it was a big lie. Nothing happened.
Gosh, I want to say Sean, but I'm going to go with Gary.
Gary, that is correct. Give yourself a point.
Well done. Well done. I was worried.
Yep. All right, Jordan. A man of your legendary prowess drinking effing rain. It's like seeing a lion eating some hummus.
It would be Gary.
That is correct. Give yourself a point. We are tied at 1.
Drinking
That is a
effing
great
rain.
Water. It's rain. All right, Colton.
Yeah.
I may not be a man of God, Reverend, but I know right and I know wrong, and I have the good grace to know which is which.
Oh, F off, grasshopper.
That is
Nicholas Angel.
Nicholas Angel again. Correct. Give yourself a point. All right, Tony. Well, there was the bit that you missed where I distracted him with the cuddly monkey. I said playtime's over, and I hit him on the head with a peace lily.
Oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on this?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Look,
Do,
give me him. I'll give you a hint.
I'm just gonna go Sean.
Oh no! That is
No.
Nicholas Angel. That is Nicholas
Dang it.
Angel. Right, Jordan?
F and chain.
To err is human. So err.
Gary again?
It is Gary again.
That is Gary.
That is
To the
correct.
very end.
Yeah.
To the very end. All right, Colton.
Yeah.
Ever have one of those nights that starts out like any other, but ends up being the best night of your life?
That's Gary.
That is Gary. Give yourself another point.
It's like the first line of the movie, isn't it?
That is correct. All right, back to Tony. You're a doctor. Deal with it.
Sean.
Nicholas again.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Shoots
gosh.
him, grabs a shotgun.
Grabs the shotgun, shoots him in the foot.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
You were
Sorry.
so confident. I love
Sorry.
the confidence, though,
I love
brother.
it. Yep.
That's
love it.
because I saw the scene in my head for some reason. Yeah, yep, all right. Yep, no
They're
excuses.
they're doing the circle. They're doing the circle shot, and Nick Frost goes, "Yeah, deal with it, mother."
Yep.
Jordan. Yeah. As Mr. Sloan always says, there's no I in tea, but there is an I in pie, and there's an I in meat pie.
Meat pies and
That'll be on in that scene right there.
That is correct. That one was probably the easiest one. It is exactly that
Literally
scene.
the picture.
That is correct. All right. You're ready. All right, Colton.
Yeah.
When's your birthday? This one was the one I was worried about. It's very difficult. If
February 22nd. What year? Every year. Out. English Angel.
well played.
that is correct.
Well
That is
played.
correct. I didn't know you would get that. That was the hardest one.
I would just want you to know that every quote you've had, I've had the line either before it or
Okay.
after it.
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
That's true.
Appreciate that.
That's true.
Okay. Tony,
Oh,
let's
gosh.
get this. We may have to kill my stepdad.
Okay, well, that's Sean.
There you go. Yes. Sorry, Philip.
Yeah, Barbara.
It's when he's like, have you been bitten? No, Philip. Philip has. I'm right. Okay. We have to kill him. Okay. Sorry.
They're a bit nippy.
Jordan. Take car, go to Mom's, kill Phil, grab this, go to the Winchester, have a nice little pint, and wait for this all to blow over. Sean. That is Sean. That is correct. It is
Oh,
Sean.
that's fantastic.
All right. Only 2 more rounds left. Golden.
Okay.
I remember sitting up there, blood on my knuckles, beer down my shirt, sick on my shoes, watching the orange glow, the new dawn breaking, and knowing in my heart life would never feel this good again.
Gary.
That is correct. It is Gary.
I think that's also at the beginning of the end of the first montage.
Listen, I didn't make it. Yes, I did. All right, Tony. Okay. The dogs can look up.
Oh, gosh. I suck at this.
Why do you think there's a gun above the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sean.
It's a show. Yeah.
It's called the Winchester. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, dogs can look up.
Dogs can look up as he pulls the dart out.
The dart out of his head. Yes, that is correct. All right, Jordan. You know, I don't think I've got it in me to shoot my flatmate, my mom, and my girlfriend on the same night. Sean, that is correct. All right, this is the final round. Colton.
Yeah.
And where have the songs escaped from exactly?
It's Nicholas.
You got this guy a lot.
It's Nicholas. Oh my
Piss taker. Come on.
It's got a long neck. Anything else?
Bill.
It's a swan. It's a swan. All right, Tony, final question. Honestly, I put half a Mars bar in the glove box once and he chased me around the garden with a bit of wood. This one's also tough. I'm sorry. Okay.
I have my first up, but you made me put a bit of wood.
I put a half.
I'm gonna.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go with Gary, but I'm not sure.
Okay. He's putting a Mars bar in a glove box in a vehicle that someone is very particular about.
Oh yeah, Sean.
Sean.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, it is Sean.
I guess we gotta take the jag.
That is
That's a
correct.
jag.
What happened? All right. What happened? All right, Jordan. This is the force, a tiebreaker. We relied on good lady for though we may return with a twinkle in our eyes, we will in truth be blind. Drunk.
Gary.
That is correct. It is Gary. All right. We have a tie. But don't worry. I prepared myself for such a scenario. Like Ross and Friends when they have the apartment battle. All right. And I have 2 tiebreakers. Tiebreaker number 1 is, it's going to be an interesting tiebreaker. I don't know how we're going to do it live, but we'll see how we're going to go. I wanted you to have pen and paper. I forgot about this. Jordan, on your phone. Colton, on your phone. I want you to write down the full character names of Sean, Nicholas, and Gary. Whoever gets the most will win. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I want you to hold your phone up to the camera. That's how we're going to do it.
Okay, give me a sec.
Full. You don't have your phone on you? Or
No,
a piece of paper?
I don't have that either.
You don't have your phone or a piece of paper?
No, I've got my phone. It's just it's on all my notes.
Make a new note or put it at the bottom. What are you talking about?
Well, that's what I did. I spazzed. Okay.
That's why it's a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a tiebreaker because I know you'll know 2 of the 3, but will you know all 3?
You could put it in the chat, and then you could read it out of the chat.
Ooh. Oh yeah, we could do that. I love that. That's a great idea. Although I got to stop sharing, right? I think I got to stop sharing. Here, I'll stop. I do have to put a timer on this for the sake of podcasting.
Yeah.
We could just sit. We could sit in
It's good
silence.
entertainment.
It's good entertainment.
That's what you're going with.
I'm going to start a timer for 20 seconds. I'll need your final answers. Do we have a chat feature?
Yeah, it's on the right side.
Oh, I see it. Okay, great.
I don't know if it's ever.
Okay, we're both obviously stuck on the same one.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a timer. Name the first name of the 2 that you know.
Nicholas and Gary.
Okay. Colton.
Yeah.
Do you know Nicholas and Gary?
Yeah, Nicholas Angel, Gary King.
Okay. Do you know Sean?
I don't.
Of the dead.
Of the dead.
I mean, I didn't put it. I just got Sean as well.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what his last name is.
I don't
Yes.
think he has one.
He does. He does have one, and that was going to be a tiebreaker. It is Gary King. It is Nicholas Angel, and it is Sean Riley. It is Sean Riley. Sean Riley. You can look that up. That is 100% fact checked.
When
Sean
when
Riley.
said in
Okay.
the movie?
So I just wanted to blow your guys' mind with that. Don't worry, I have a second tiebreaker. Tiebreaker number 2. Closest without going over. Okay, this is Price of Right rules. How much did the Cornetto Trilogy gross worldwide, according to thenumbers.com/movies?
I don't. I don't. Jake, I don't think this is fair.
Do not cheat at this. Did you look up all these numbers?
Jake, it's been in front of me the whole time.
But it might be different. What I would love is if your number is different than the numbers.com/movies.
Okay, I will. How about this? I will go last. Jordan will guess.
$1.
You should do $1. All right, you put it in the chat, Colton.
Did I what?
Cool. Did you put it in the chat? I got one message in the chat.
Can be made.
No, I haven't put anything in the chat. I don't know where the chat is on this.
It's on the right-hand side.
It's on the right side. It says chat.
Oh, I see chat.
Yep. Okay, Colton, you put yours in the chat because Jordan can't see it. I have no idea.
I love it. Okay, here's
It
the
is.
number that I've been looking at.
You put it in the chat?
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
And this is the entire Cornetto Trilogy.
This is worldwide, like the Sean
Okay,
Mega
well, you're telling me that I'm gonna be safe. Save a couple million.
He's going to be safe. You're a turd. You are a turd.
Yeah, it's like, how much did these actually?
I didn't know you had that in front of you, Colton. I was hopeful that this was just going to be a total random guess.
I was gonna go because one of the coolest things about this trilogy also is how much it took, how much they made, like these budgets for these movies is phenomenal for how much they actually made. Like,
do you have profit number or just what they gross made?
what?
That's what it is.
Like gross, just worldwide.
Yeah.
Simple things.
Okay. Okay.
100. I don't actually know. 100 million.
Okay, did you see my number?
So
I said I'm just gonna say 100 round number.
That's not what you said the first time.
I feel like you're trying to cheat.
156.8.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
156.8 million. All right, let's see what Colton put in there. Colton put 156 million, but close without going over was Jordan. So Jordan wins. Congratulations.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
Well
that's
There
what
you
I
go,
thought.
Jordan.
Thank you.
Jordan, you can take it. Jake, do you know how much they spent on these 3 films to make?
I did have that, but I didn't want to include that. Like, I didn't want to do multiple tiebreakers, but it was
Tell the audience.
No, I mean, it was like 30-some million total, maybe.
38 million
For
these
3
3 movies.
For 3 movies, yep.
6 million for Shaun of the Dead, 12 for Hot Fuzz, and 20 for World's End.
Yeah, because when you talk about 156 million gross for all 3 movies, it's not like in today's Hollywood numbers that really isn't impressive. But when you compare it to the budget,
it's the
and the
budget
fact
that just.
And these
Absolutely
movies
kills
definitely are more of a cultural success after the fact that they're in the movie theaters. Like, everyone knows these movies for the most part, and has watched them, if not multiple times, but it wasn't in the theater.
Yep. But no. But thank you. Thank all of you for playing. Thank you for playing at home. This was your game of Who Said It. Outro music. Outro music. Beautiful. Well executed. It's 4 in the morning. It's Saturday. No, it's Sunday. It's Sunday.
In 4 hours.
I didn't invite you. I didn't know. I didn't stop to ask him. Anyway, we're back to that.
Oh my gosh. As always, thank you so much. Guys, Jake, Jordan, Tony, as always, appreciate your time. Glad we can get to do this. Tony, really glad you were able to make it after your day today. So appreciate you guys so much for coming on. Jake, as always, bringing the extra pizzazz and whatever else you bring to the table, and Jordan just bringing goodness to this podcast that we so desperately need, especially when you got these cahoots like the other 2 on here. So it's nice to have some good people on here.
Thanks for having me.
This was fun.
It was great. Thank you.
I'm glad we got to do it, as this has been 2 years in the making. We finally got our Cornetto Trilogy episode. I had a lot of fun doing this. Had a lot of fun rewatching the movies, researching all the fun stuff. I mean, this truly is. If anybody out there who hasn't watched the Cornetto Trilogy, go watch it. It's fantastic. It literally is 3 completely different movies that are so the same. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's so well done on so many levels. So, anybody else got anything else want to share with the Cornetto Trilogy?
No?
All right.
No?
I'll try to take this ship on out. Thank you for watching and listening to The Call Guys. Appreciate you guys, the listeners themselves. And Jake, I am not going to get this anywhere close to where Gunner does it. So
you don't have the read? You're doing this ad-lib?
Oh, yeah. You keep those judgmental eyes to yourself, okay?
As long as he hits the right last line. He needs the last line.
Thank you. I'm going to screw it up.
It's fine. You got it.
Thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. You can catch us out wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Podbean, anywhere else. Wherever you get your podcasts, that's where we will be. We check us out on YouTube. We've got one of those, Call Guys Podcast. I believe we're on the TikTok, the Call Guys Podcast. I don't know if we do anything on that. It's a good Gunner question. We're on the Instagram, I think, at the Call Guys Pod. Probably said that wrong, but anywho, but we are a flagship, a brigade for the empire that is the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network. We have a little bit of everything now. We've got, I think, hey Emperor, hey, you guys still doing Golden Image Radio? You guys still doing that podcast? I'd love to know. You guys ever gonna do nothing besides nothing? Do something. We have TUSOP, United States Paranormal. They are doing well. Go watch them if you like anything spooky or paranormal. They got great stuff. They're a great host. We also have Golden 80s. If you want to go back in time, Frankie, my man, my brother, and Golden Jade. Talk about their times in the 80s, which is great. And the newest one that we have is the Green Iron Kings, led by none other than Coach Rob, and Duke of Earl. Go check them out if you like football, NFL. All that other one on Thursdays is that Indiana Chiefs fans. Probably only got like 2 people in this whole state that listens to them, maybe. I don't know, and I'm probably one of them. Anywho. Go check them out if you like the Kansas City Chiefs. They are homers, so they will say everything good about their Chiefs. We will digress. I believe we got Quarter Books and Booze. Go check them out. We got a big backlog in the library there, and same thing with Murdnerds, which eventually should be coming back at some point in time. I got a weird look. Okay. Check us out at goldenmojoent.com, I believe is the website. You're welcome. Go check out the merch. Go check out the bios. They know about us. Just a really cool page. Just support the podcast and the empire. So just like I said, thank you so much, guys. Jake, Jordan, Tony. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming out and doing this. If anybody wants to just talk, just shoot us an email at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to interact with you. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's all I got. You guys got anything you want to say?
Player 2 has left the match.
That's good. Love you, brothers. For all those listening out there in podcast land, we'll see you next time.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Later. Bye. See ya. Hasta la vista.
I felt like it was this. Watching him do this read, he's like remembering everything. I'm pulling up Aladdin. And Genie's like, couple of provisos, he's going through like the whole list of everything. I just felt like just counting all the things you're naming. I'm going to go through all of the podcasts.
Pretty much.
You just didn't want to say, just go check out the Cool Mojo Empire. Go see. Oh, I love it. I love when you're off script, by the way. Just, that's cool.
The Call Guy.